So guys, I don't know if you remember, like a few days ago, I was like, I was just kind of complaining on how Booga is dead. There's no updates for it, and I was just hoping that whatever update came out in October or November would make the game a little more fun and a little more enjoyable, since there hasn't been updates in forever. And that's what we're going to be finally getting. We're finally going to be getting community updates that everyone actually wants to see in the game, and that will hopefully make the game better, more playable, more enjoyable, and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, last night, Soybean actually made a post in his Discord server. As you can see here, he first had mentioned everyone, and he said, what do you want to see in the next Booga update? And he said post ideas in the general chat. So he asked if people want new aesthetics, customizables, nerfing or removing spells and high tier stuff, defensive structures, or utilities like catapults. And so that was a few of the things he asked. Now, I think new aesthetics and customizables would be great. There's not a lot of customization in the game right now, and there's not like a lot of hats. I mean, like once you get all the hats, they're pretty expensive, sure, they look pretty cool, but there's still not a lot of them. And I think more hats would be really cool to see, or just at least being able to actually customize your character more, like maybe picking your characters like clothing, or like making clothing, or I don't know, stuff like that. It'd be better to see more customizable stuff in the game. And then he asked if nerfing or removing spells and high tier stuff should be a thing, which we'll get down into that down here in just a second. And then he asked about defensive structures or utilities like catapults. Now I know catapults and more defensive structures were a thing that he asked about before. They're one of the things that he actually was talking about a long time ago when the game was still being frequently updated. And now we actually might finally see him, which would be really great for raiding and all that kind of stuff. I'd really love to see catapults and better walls and stuff. So then that way you could actually defend your base a lot better, and raids would be a lot more fun. Maybe you could even like catapult yourself into their base. That'd be pretty cool too. But I think it'd be really great to see more building things in the game, at least, and maybe even make a new building system. Because currently I really don't like the building system in Booga. It's really basic. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just so basic. And I mean, you can't like place roofs on your base. You can't make like 2 stories. You can only make like a 1-story base with just some walls and some gates, and that's really it. So the base building on the game isn't really the best right now, and I really hope he improves that. That's just a little bit of my feedback, but I really hope that he'll improve the base building on the game, so we can actually, because if base building was better on this game, I feel like the game would be a lot more fun, because then you can like raid bigger bases and defend your own base. And if you could like do something like Rovive, where your base is actually saved in like a server or whatever, that'd be pretty cool. Although I don't think Booga would be a type of game like that to actually have that happen, and I don't really see that in Booga, so I don't think that would happen. But at least make better base building for like temporary bases, make it so base building's faster, easier, and just better in general. So, but anyways, here are the plans that he currently has for the next update. These are some basic things, nothing insane, but currently his plans are sharks can attack grass, but they have lower health and damage, nerfing the lightning bolt, and ability to change the spell on rebirth. Now I thought changing spells on rebirth was going to be like a thing that he was going to add as soon as the spells came out, and that's what he was actually talking about. But I guess he never did that, and no one's ever been able to change their spell, which is kind of stupid. So let's get into the actual things, the actual questions and opinions and all that kind of stuff, and all of the feedback that the community's been leaving for Booga. And let's go ahead and just get into this. So the first question he asked was, who wants sprinting? Which I voted yes. Of course, everyone wants sprinting. If we have sprinting, we can actually travel around the map faster and better and all that kind of stuff. So sprinting is a really good thing. Who wants markets back? I voted yes for this too, because markets were really good. You can trade with other people across the map, and you didn't have to risk yourself being attacked by them and all that kind of stuff. And it made trades fair, so you wouldn't get scammed and all that. Who wants a new map or multiple maps? Now, this one is really, I would really love to see this. If you guys remember when I used to do Apocalypse Rising on my channel, Apocalypse Rising was a game that had multiple maps, and if Booga can implement that, I feel like this game would be a lot better. Because then we can have the map that we have now. We could have the cave map where we have the Queen Ant and all like the deep, scary, spooky caves. Maybe he can add some new maps. I don't know, just like better maps, maybe more maps for exploration or like boss fights or something like that. Just add some new maps, because right now the current map gets boring. The other cave ant map got boring. So if we had multiple maps where we can change around and play whatever one we want to play, that'd be so much better. So multiple maps, I feel like, is a must. Swimming and underwater stuff, definitely. Water Walker's a cool perk, sure, but if we could have swimming in the game, if we could have underwater like sunken ships or like just treasures or whatever underwater, That would be really, really cool, and I think everyone would love to see that and get more loot and stuff from under the water, and just, you know, have the ocean be a little more exciting and not just somewhere where you run around or raft around in a boring old ocean that we have now. Who wants more hostile NPCs? Definitely, I voted this because right now, all the NPCs in the game are pretty meh, like they really don't do much, and we just have some ants and some sharks, and they're just kind of boring, and like all the animals and stuff in the game are just kind of like boring. I really like better NPCs it would make the game have a lot more to it. It'd be much more enjoyable. Okay, so now this part's more of an opinion poll. This is just stuff that he asked the community. The first one was, do you think Booga would be more fun if it was PvE? I went ahead and voted no because I would like to see I would like to see a good balance between PvP and PvE. One thing that he could do is what I thought is maybe if he had PvP servers, so then that way if people want to play PvE they can, or if they want to play PvP they can, which that kind of results back to the multiple maps thing that I was talking about just a second ago. Maybe some maps could be PvP based, maybe some could be PvE based, or maybe just add a better balance between PvE and PvP and just make the NPCs better. The next one was, do you think high-powered materials like God, Emerald, Void, Mag are too common? I went ahead and voted no on this one. And this was just because it does take a long time whenever you have God armor. It takes a very long time to grind all the crystals for it, all the gold, and I mean, I guess the ores could be a little common, but I mean, the fact that, like, the crystals, there's no crystals on the map now, you just have to wait for meteors and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it takes way too long to get God armor or crystal armor. Void, the NPCs take forever to spawn, I feel like. Magnetite's okay, but meteors also take forever to spawn, and Emerald is just like, there's a few veins here and there, and I don't know, I just feel like these ores aren't very common, so I just voted no on that one. Is there enough to buy in the shop with gold? I put it no. I mean, I don't really use my gold in the shop. I normally use it for crates, but I mean, I feel like more hats would be cooler. You could do more things, or just maybe like add more customizable things, or like the thing that I've always wanted is like XP boosters, so grinding doesn't take so long. So I feel like there should be more in the shop. The next question was, should people be able to build during combat? I put yes, because then you could put walls in front of you if you need like a second to heal or whatever, if you want to like build like a hut around you or something like that. I really don't mind the building in combat. I feel like it should just stay in there. I enjoy when games have a good mixture of like combat and building, kind of like how Fortnite does it. So building during combat, I feel like should definitely stay. This one, I feel like it really should stay. Should people be able to eat during combat? Definitely. It really improves combat. Although I feel like it should be more, they should have like a cooldown on it, because so many people on Booga use auto clickers, and that means you could just press a button and it'll just spam click on the food, and you can heal up in like 2 seconds. So that's something that I feel like if you could heal in combat, he does need to make it a little better, because right now healing in combat is a little too OP. He needs to make it like a limit or something, like you can eat this much in combat and then there's like a cooldown, or there's like a second or like a few second delay between every time you eat like a piece of food or something that heals you. So definitely keep that, but make it more balanced, because right now it's a little too OP. The next one is, if the Barbarian AI was advanced enough to replace basic player behavior, should Booga be PvE with the focus on teamwork against the Barbarians? Or if you prefer PvP exclusively, then vote no. Now, I voted yes and no. I'm kind of like in the middle between this one. I really enjoyed the PvP in the game, and I mean, it can be a little meh at times, but I want him to improve the PvP in the game, but I also want him to improve the PvE in the game. So if there's a good balance between the PvE and PvP mechanics, then I'll be fine with having both. I just kind of want like a mixture of both. I don't want it to just be strictly PvE, and I don't want it to be strictly PvP. So this one I just kind of voted yes and no. The next one is, should the ocean be more of a focus in Booga? This includes bigger ships with cannons, which would be awesome. The water should be deeper in some places, and islands would be further apart. I voted yes. Now, I would love to see bigger ships. You could have these huge ship battles with just these cannons. Maybe you'd have to craft the cannonballs and put them in the cannons, and then have like these big ship battles in the ocean. I love games, like, I wish there were more pirate games out there. If you guys remember, like, I think a long time ago, there's, like, a game like Pirates of the Caribbean Online or something. I really enjoyed that game, and I wish there was more games like that, where, I don't know, there's, like, a good balance between, like, water combat and, like, going on, like, finding islands and kind of stuff like that. Or, like, Sea of Thieves. If Booga could do something like that, that would be really cool, where the game is still focused on survival, but it'd also be kind of like a ship. You can use like a ship and like search different islands, explore a bigger map. And if the islands are further apart, it'd be better for basing, because then you won't see like a person's base from like across the map. Then that way you have to actually search around the map to find people's bases, and it would be really cool. Just bigger ship battles, a bigger ocean, maybe like ocean bosses, ocean caves. That would be really cool to see. And better base building, because then people can build further apart around the map and then have a place to come back to and store all their loot and whatever else that they want to store. So I feel like a bigger map with more ships, more water and all that, everything more spread out, that'd be really cool to see. The next one was on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the most, how much of your time is spent being maxed out on Booga. I put a 5 because it takes forever to get maxed out on Booga. The grinding is such a pain. I feel like the grinding is very slow and very, very boring. And I feel like once you get good armor, it's pretty good. You're like, hey, I got all this armor, but then it's like, you don't really feel very accomplished. I mean, you do, but then like, if there's not other people with that kind of armor, then like, you know, you're just fighting like noobs. That armor is kind of useless to you, and you spend all the time grinding for it. And also, besides that, like, even if you do grind for armor, and then there's people with other better armor, if you die with that armor, then you just lost all of that, and then you have to spend all that time grinding for it again. And I just feel like it takes forever to get maxed out on Booga, so I put a 5 for that one, and most people did as well. Now this is the last question that he asked, and he asked, was Booga more fun when it was just leaf, stone, iron, steel, adderite, and magnetite, before crystal, emerald, void, and god equipment, which actually crystal became 4 magnetite, so he should probably fix that. But I do feel like it was more fun. I feel like the combat was definitely more balanced, and you know, if you're like 1v2ing like a 2 team of magnetite players, a duo of magnetite players, like a team of magnetite players, I felt like it was a little more fair, and you could probably take them both on if you're good at the game's combat. But right now, I feel like if you go against a whole team of god players and you're just one god person, the god armor and the god rock and everything like that is so OP that you die super fast, and you just lose all that hard work. And I just feel like when the game was a little more basic with the less armor types, it was just more fun, the combat was more fun, and the grinding was more fun, because you didn't have all this other stuff to grind for. Now, with that being said, though, a lot of people have spent all this time getting void armor and god armor and all that, and I feel like for all those mojos and things for god armor and all that kind of stuff, I feel like maybe he should give players who actually, you know, rebirth and all that, he should give them a little something for all their hard effort and all that, their hard work and everything like that. He should probably give them maybe something like, you know, everyone who got god armor, like mojo equipments and all that, they should probably get like some extra coins or some cool item in the game. I don't know, but I mean, if he's going to remove it, he needs to do something for all those players that grinded that whole entire time trying to get all that stuff. But I do feel like removing all that high tier OP gear would be better for the game and make it more enjoyable. Maybe less grindy, but then you could do more things on like go like fight bosses or something. I don't know. But yeah, the level gap is too big, and that's what he says here. It feels more fantasy than survival, and I feel the same way at the moment. And but yeah, that's all the questions that he had for the community for now, and these won't all be added in the next update, but some of them might. So we might be seeing some of this stuff very soon, and I'm really excited for whatever he does decide to add to the game. I've been waiting for Booga updates, just like all of you have been, for a very long time, and I hope whatever he decides to add makes the game fun and improves the game, and it can make the game go into a better direction, and hopefully we can see that soon. So yeah, now I don't have the invite link to the Booga Booga Discord, so I don't know if it's closed right now, but if you are in the Booga Booga Discord though, make sure you go ahead over into the announcements and vote on these things and have your voice heard in the community for these new updates and all that kind of stuff. And then we can see these updates very soon, and I'm very excited, and I'm glad I got to share this with you guys. So yeah, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe for more Roblox and Booga Booga content. And I'll see you guys in the next video, so goodbye.